Hello and a warm welcome. You've joined us on Market Cafe this Wednesday morning. I'm Ashesha Advaryu. With me is Kanishka Sarkar joining us from our Delhi studio. And more comments coming in from US President Donald Trump, where he says that he's looking to substantially raise tariffs on India. And for pharma products as well, they could rise to 150% and then eventually to 250% over the next 1 year. We'll discuss all that and more in greater detail. But first up, let's have a look at how the American markets performed yesterday. And Kanishka, US markets ended in the red yesterday, isn't it?
Absolutely, Ashisha. Well, good morning to you first of all. It was a losing day on Wall Street, marking the S&P 500's fifth down day in the last 6 days and the Dow's sixth negative session in the past 7 sessions. The S&P 500 fell about 0.5%, whereas the Nasdaq Composite that slid about 0.7%. On the other hand, we had the Dow Jones Industrial Average that moved about 0.1% lower. Now, the street was weighing weaker than expected economic data as well as fresh tariff comments from US President Donald Trump. Now, today the street will monitor earnings reports, slated from Disney, Uber and McDonald's, followed by Airbnb, DoorDash and Lyft. Now, while there's no economic data of note expected today, traders will follow speeches by Federal Reserve officials, including Boston Fed President Susan Collins and San Francisco's Fed President Mary Daly during the day. So those are the cues that we are tracking as far as US markets are concerned. But of course, the spotlight is on the increased tariffs that he's threatening now.
Well, yes, that's as far as American markets are concerned. But let's also put the spotlight on how the oil market performed in trade yesterday and for today as well. Remember, Brent crude has now snapped its 4-day losing streak. It is trading with marginal amount of gains in trade today, up nearly 0.25% as we speak, and trading near that $67.8 per barrel mark. Several factors continue to remain at play for the oil market. One, traders are assessing Trump's comments to impose secondary tariffs on crude imports that are being done from Russia. So that continues to weigh heavily on the oil market, although it has given up all of those gains that we saw in the last few trading sessions, and it is now trading sub that $68 per barrel mark. But if we look at the monthly gain, now remember, for 3 consecutive months, Brent crude ended with gains. So in the month of May, we saw gains of about 1.2%, followed by a 6% uptick in June, 7% uptick in July. But this month so far, in the month of August, oil prices have declined by about 3% from the highs of nearly $72, $73 per barrel that we saw at the end of July. Let's also put the spotlight on how the gold market is performing, because safe haven demand seems to be returning, at least in the gold market. It is currently trading near that $3,382 per ounce mark, and it is gaining for the 5th straight week, and this is the longest streak of gains that we have seen since February. And as I mentioned, safe haven demand seems to be returning on account of the turmoil that we are seeing in the global market, and that is the reason we are seeing some bit of momentum